Now that we know pasta didn't come from China, I've always wondered about the ravioli. But let's talk about the Marco Polo pasta myth real quick. Story is that Marco Polo traveled to China in the 12th century and saw these exotic wheat-based noodles, brought them back to Italy before the Italians popularized it and turned it into pasta. That's just a load of BS. The story was actually fabricated by the American Macaroni Journal in the 1920s. As a marketing campaign, they romanticized the origins of pasta to sell more pasta. But what about dumplings? Who invented dumplings? According to Professor Miranda Brown, who specializes in the cultural histories of China at the University of Michigan, Professor Brown cites the poet Shu Xi, who wrote the very famous poem Rhapsody on Pasta, Bing Fu in Chinese. Professor Brown states that in the poem, Shu Xi mentions mantou, which is the ancestor of all dumplings, as a product coming from alien land. And this is a massive deal because Shu Xi's poem Bing Fu is the first ever written text recorded on the beauties of Chinese dough making and eating. This poem is in classical Chinese, which means it's super fucking hard to understand. So I did what every sensible person would do. I slid into Professor Brown's DM, and she was kind enough to point me in the direction of Fuchsia Dunlop, more specifically her essay Barbarian Heads and Turkish Dumplings, where she dives very deep into the complexities of how the word mantou very possibly came from the Turks mante. And though the mantou now refers to an unstuffed leavened dough in Chinese, Fuchsia details how the word used to mean a dough stuffed with filling, which today we would call baozi, which is basically like a yeasted dumpling. So did the Chinese dumplings come from the Central Asian mante? Seems likely. So this is just another example of how we've really been eating fusion cuisine for much longer than we realize. Regardless, these beefy beef soup wontons tossed in a Taiwanese beef soup reduction kind of reminded me of a bastardized ravioli wonton. And that's what made me go down this rabbit hole. Food history is 非常好.